Hey everybody, this is Tony, Tainted Lord 87, and I have a fun little video that I came up with. And this fun video that I came up with is 10 albums that plays during my workout routine. And when I'm exercising or doing some workout or do some physical activity at home, I need some fast, loud, heavy metal albums in the background to help keep that energy and adrenaline going. So I'm going to give everybody my 10 metal albums that plays during my workout routine. Now I could choose a ton of other metal albums for this list, but these 10 albums are usually the ones that I go to keep me inspired to do some aerobics, exercising, and all that jazz. So yeah, here's 10 albums playing during my workout routine. The first one would be a classic from the late 90s, and that's Slipknot's self-titled album. Now, I don't think this album needs any introduction. If you're into like new metal, Slipknot's self-titled debut album should be like the new metal album that everybody knows. But this one, I think this is far more heavier, aggressive, darker, and just blisteringly insane than your usual new metal album. And Slipknot's self-titled album is just so heavy, fast, insane, and just gets the adrenaline pumping when I'm doing some aerobics at home or do some sort of workout routine. And Slipknot's self-titled album is that energy album that I need to keep me going. So, yep, that's the first one, Slipknot's self-titled album. A very blistering new metal album that's fast, heavy, and aggressive. So yeah, Slipknot's self-titled album. Next up is a band that that honestly I wasn't a big fan of before, but in recent times I've slowly started to enjoy their music, and that's August Burns Red and the 2020 album Guardians. Now, August Burns Red are a metalcore band that I didn't really care for when I first heard about them, but like I said, in recent times I wanted to delve more into the music, and I just blind bought this on a whim when this was first released back in 2020. And to my surprise, this is actually some pretty good metalcore. Very aggressive, has some awesome riffs, has that ferocious energy that would definitely keep me going when I'm doing some exercising or aerobics or any kind of physical activity. And I think Guardians by August Burns Red is just a really, really good metalcore album that would definitely inspire me to keep exercising and do my workout routine. And yeah, this is just a awesome metalcore album full of good riffs and some awesome solos and leads, and yeah, this is just a solid metalcore album from August Burns Red. So that's Guardians by August Burns Red. Very, very solid album from these guys. Next up is Amarth and the album Twilight of the Thunder Gods. Yeah, Twilight of the Thunder God by Amarth. This is some really, really good, straight up Viking themed melodic death metal. The kind of album that definitely have me pumped up to continue doing my aerobics and my exercising and do any kind of workout routine when I'm at home. And this album just has that badass sound that just keeps me going, keeps me inspired. And this is just a solid melodic death metal album from Amarth. I honestly think the early stuff is definitely a little bit better than the more recent stuff, and this album is definitely is definitely one of the better albums in the early discography, in my opinion. So, yeah, Amon Moth, Twilight of the Thunder God is just a very solid Viking themed melodic death metal album. Really, really enjoyable, and really the kind of album that have me pumped to keep going and keep doing my exercise and aerobics. So yeah, Amon Moth, Twilight of the Thunder God. Next up is Arch Enemy, Wages of Sin. Now this is the first album to have Angela Gosgow doing vocals for Arch Enemy, and she sounds like an absolute beast on this album. Like her vocal sounds monstrous and beastly, and you wouldn't think that would come out from a woman, but Lord and behold, she can do those death growls better than anyone can. And Arch Enemy Wages of Sin is just an awesome melodic death metal album from this band, and this album just keeps the energy and adrenaline going with its leads, the solos, the riffs. Just everything about this album is just fantastic, and definitely an album that would definitely have me, you know, inspired to keep going with my exercise and my workout routine when I'm at home. So, yeah, this is just a fantastic melodic death metal album from Arch Enemy. Wages of Sin by Arch Enemy. Definitely one of the better albums, in my opinion. Okay, next up is Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake. Sometimes you just need some really straight up tough guy metalcore to, you know, to keep you pumped up to do some weightlifting or aerobics or some exercises. And Lamb of God's Ashes of the Wake is just the kind of tough guy metalcore energy that just brings it out, in my opinion. Yeah, this is just some awesome groove metalcore that's just heavy and just straightforward and just does the job to you know, keep me energized and inspired to, do my workout routine when this album plays in the background. So, yeah, I don't think this album needs any more introduction. Everybody knows this one. Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake is just a solid metalcore groove metal album from these guys. Really good stuff. Next up is Suffocation's Souls to Deny. I don't think Suffocation needs any introduction. If you're into brutal technical death metal, you can't go wrong with Suffocation's Souls to Deny. This is just an excellent brutal technical death metal album with its crushing grinding riffs and deep guttural vocals and just pure insanity in my personal opinion. And also, I find this album to be a bit underrated in Suffocation's discography, but make no mistake, this is just a damn good album from Suffocation, and a bit overlooked, but definitely a great one from Suffocation. So yeah, Suffocation's Souls to Deny, a really excellent album from these guys. Okay, going back to the new metal bit, I'm gonna go with Static X, Machine. Now, Static X were like lumped in with the whole new metal trend, but if you ask me, they definitely also had some industrial metal influences in their music. They um they definitely have that industrial metal sound sprinkled in with the new metal sound, and this is just a heavy, straightforward album from Static X. It's just fun, energetic, and just kind of reminds me of my younger days and the kind of album I need to, you know, to get me pumped up when I do some exercising or aerobics at home. Just some heavy, straightforward, inspired music, in my personal opinion. So, yeah, Static X Machine. Just a solid new metal, industrial metal album from these guys. Next up is some brutal death metal, and that brutal death metal album is from Abominable Putridity, In the End of Human Existence. Like I said, it's brutal death metal. They that has those thick grinding riffs and those deep guttural vocals and those insane drumming in the background. And yeah, this is just a really excellent album if you just want some solid riffs and some grinding brutality. And this is just some excellent stuff if you want some heavy brutal music. So yeah, Abominable Putridity, In the End of Human Existence, is the kind of brutal death metal album that has me inspired to, to exercise and do some physical activity. Really good stuff. So yeah, Abominable Putridity, In the End of Human Existence. Good stuff. Okay, next up is some more death metal, and that's Entrails, World Inferno. Now, I already talked about this album and this band in previous videos, but I'll say it again. This is some excellent HM2 inspired death metal from Entrails. Some solid riffs, great vocals, great leads, great solos, just an awesome HM2 inspired death metal album that'll have me headbanging and give me a good give me a good neck exercise. It gave me a good neck exercise when I headbang to this album, and definitely an album that I would definitely spin when I'm doing my aerobics. So yeah, Intros, World Inferno, a solid HM2 death metal album from these guys. Good stuff. And the last album that I'm going to show that will be played during my workout routine is none other than Divine Heresy, Bringer of Plagues. Now, Divine Heresy are a band that I don't hear a lot of people talk about, and I consider them underrated, but this band and album is just heavy as balls. Like, this is some crushing, straight up heavy riff driven metal that just pretty much breaks your face and breaks your neck, and it just demolishes everything in its path. This is a really destructive album, but what can you expect when you have Dino Causeway as a member of this band? He's an absolute riff wido, and he's a badass. He's a badass at that. And this album also proves how much of a badass guitarist that Dino Causeway is. Sorry if I butchered his last name, but yeah, like I said, Divine Heresies, Bringer of Plagues is just a riff-driven, destructive, straight-up metal album that have me inspired to do some physical activity and do some aerobics. And definitely an album that will be played during my workout routine. So yeah, Divine Heresy, Bringer of Plagues. And that's it, everyone. Those are 10 albums that will be played during my workout routine. And hopefully someone will find this enjoyable, entertaining, and may be inspired to check out some of these albums out. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and thanks for watching.